Liz. I've got some extra kids here with me who are going to help me out later in the lesson, so we're going to start off the right way. Are you ready? Good day, students!
Good day, Miss Liz!
Kids, I am so excited to be back teaching you another little lesson with Miss Liz. So if you were here the last couple of weeks, you might remember that so far, recently, we've talked about how to grow your faith. You need the right ingredients. And then last week, we talked about the fruit of the Spirit. Now, you know that your faith is growing when your life starts to show the fruit of the Spirit. Things like love and joy and patience and self-control. I know, self-control is a hard one for me.
Especially when the chocolate comes out.
But I have grown in self-control the longer I've loved God. So, since we talked about the fruit of the Spirit last week, I wanted to focus in on two of those fruits this week. Particularly, we're going to talk about love and kindness. So you guys know there are lots of different kinds of love. There's the romantic, ooey-gooey love when a boy and a girl love each other.
You write little notes in class.
Or your parents might have romantic love. That's not what we're talking about. Then there's a kind of love where, say, you really love spaghetti, or you love playing basketball, or you love the color pink. That's not really the love we're talking about either. The kind of love we're talking about today is the love of God, the special kind of love that comes when you love God and then God helps you love others. In fact, love is such an important part of the Bible. There's an entire chapter in 1 Corinthians dedicated to love. It says things like, love is patient, love is kind, love doesn't envy other people's things, love doesn't brag about itself.
Look at me, I'm so gorgeous.
No, love looks after the needs of others and puts other people first. If you want to look it up, it's 1 Corinthians chapter 13. There's some really great stuff about love in there. So when you see love in action like that, when somebody is being kind or patient, when they're putting other people ahead of themselves, we call that kindness. See, kindness is really just love and action. And kindness is another one of the fruit of the Spirit. So I decided today we'd do a little something different. And I want to tell you a Bible story that illustrates kindness or love in action really well. So why don't you guys follow me down to the basement? I think this is going to be pretty fun. This is Jesus. Jesus had been traveling from town to town, teaching people about God and the good news of salvation. He also performed miracles, like multiplying food to feed huge crowds.
I'm hungry.
Calming storms.
Hey, it stopped raining.
And healing people.
I can see.
Everywhere he went, crowds of people followed him to see what he would do next.
Hi, guys.
In one town he visited, there was a group of friends. Now, one of those friends had crippled legs and had never been able to walk. Her friends and family had to carry her everywhere, but they didn't mind. Even though they were kind to her, she was still sad that she couldn't run and play like other kids. When her friends heard that Jesus was coming to town, they immediately decided that they would take her to see Jesus, so maybe he could heal her legs. Jesus had stopped at the house of a local family to teach the crowds. By the time the friends arrived, the house was full to overflowing.
You can't come in here. It's too crowded.
The friends weren't about to give up, though. They decided to come up with a new plan.
I guess if we can't come in the front door, we're just going to come through the roof. Beep, beep, coming through. Let's do this.
They made a hole in the roof right about where Jesus was standing.
can't believe this worked.
There's Jesus.
Man, that's a long way down.
Let's get Ren.
And so, God loves everybody. Wait.
They lowered their friend through the hole and dropped her right at Jesus' feet.
Jesus was amazed, not just at the person coming through the ceiling from the sky, but at the friendship and kindness and the faith of these great friends. Jesus turned to the girl and said, "Your sins are forgiven. Now get up and walk." And she did. She was so happy.
Our friend can move again. Yay!
Both Jesus and the friend showed so much love and kindness that day. The end. Wasn't that story great? I think those kids did a good job. I just want to give them a round of applause because they were great little actors. So, did you see any examples of kindness in that story? Well, in the beginning, Jesus was teaching people about God. That's pretty kind. And he was also doing miracles. He fed people and he calmed storms and he healed people. And the Bible's full of kind things that Jesus did for others. And then there's the example of the four friends. They really embodied kindness. They looked after people, even people who couldn't do anything to help them in return. They were patient. They were generous. They showed all sorts of love to their friend who was crippled. They couldn't get along by themselves. But the most loving thing that those friends did was that they brought their friend to Jesus. Now, you might not have a friend who has a physical disability, like not being able to walk, but I bet every single one of you has a friend who needs to learn about Jesus. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for somebody is to show them Jesus, to bring them to Jesus. Now, you can do all sorts of other kind things. Kindness is one of the best ways to show people God's love. It can be that first step that helps people understand there's a God out there who loves them. It might be the first time they really understand how special they are. So my challenge for you this week, I always have a challenge for you. My challenge for you this week is to look for ways to be kind, to show God's love through love in action, kindness. You can start with your own families. Find ways that you can be patient, that you can look after the needs of others before you look after your own needs. You can find ways to be generous and ways to help. All those are great ways to show kindness. And I bet you guys are going to come up with some really creative ways to show kindness to other people this week. In fact, I would love it if you guys would write a comment here on the Facebook page about what kind things you guys did this week, your little random acts of kindness or your really thoughtful acts of kindness. And then if you liked this story, if you loved watching the kids act out the Bible story, then share this video with some other people. I bet there are people out there who also need to learn about God's love and learn how to be kind. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. I'm really excited to see you guys again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.